We are finally at the arse end of 2024. It's been one hell of a year. Welcome back to the channel, all you watch heroes and nerds, and today, well, we're going to be looking at the highlights for me, watch-wise, for 2024. So this might be a slightly longer video than usual, but there have been some great watches this year, and I wanted to make a video in particular to celebrate that. Anyway, today there will be no affiliate links in particular. The watch brands today I'm just going to be telling you about are my personal favorite pickups for 2024, and the watches that I've had hands-on, the watches I've had hands-on with this year. Now, before I jump in, there is one general watch update I have to make on here, and it's been a huge boon for me personally. So I want to say a great thank you to Watch Gecko for taking me on as their newest presenter this year. This opportunity has given me so many chances, not just to see some amazing watches and get hands-on with it, but to engage better with members of the community, to see things from the other side, the perspective, because Watch Gecko also own Gecko, which is a micro brand. And to top all of that, I've also been invited to watch shows as well, where I've met quite a few of you guys, and that has been incredible for me. Okay, watch nerds, soppy stuff out of the way. Here are my top 10 watches for 2024, and this list, by the way, is in no particular order. Coming in at 10, we have the absolutely stunning Rolex 6694 Oyster Date Precision from 1971. I picked this watch up as I really wanted to get a classic vintage roller, but didn't want the astronomical price tag of a day date or a day just. In fact, this watch does everything I want from it at a great price for a Rolex, and I couldn't be happier. As I've said multiple times before, I have no desire to sit neglected on a Rolex waitlist, and their newer maxi dials really just aren't doing it for me. My love of Rolex as a brand comes from the 60s through to the 90s. In fact, my Grail watch is a 1990s older shape Rolex Pepsi Master 2 GMT. But at between 8 or 9 grand, I think I may be looking at a classic Aquascaf GMT to stretch that itch, or to scratch that itch, at least for a few years yet to come. Now, speaking of, my choice for number 9 is the Baltic Aquascaf GMT. Now, this one was loaned to me by Watch Gecko earlier this year, and wow, I absolutely loved it. Look, I know there are question marks around the reliability of the Soprod GMT movement in relation to the Solita GMTs, but this watch did something to me. It's a vintage inspired design, but it has originality about it. It's water resistant and well spec'd. I think next year I may just pick one up as my ultimate holiday watch. Next up, we have a watch that unfortunately didn't stay in my collection for all that long, and that is because of the next watch coming up on this list as to why I sold this watch along with a few other pieces to fund. I thought it was a right looker though nonetheless. Enter the Christopher Ward Dune GMT 38mm in khaki sand white. A beautiful watch with heaps of specs, again from a brand that I would consider to be one of the more attainable ends of the entry luxury market. I love this watch, and if you see this model or any of the Dune lineup, pick it up. It'd most definitely be a lifer for some of you. So this is the reason I sold my Christopher Ward. It was the Tudor Black Bay 54, a mini grail watch of mine at the time. Fantastic specs, beautiful proportions, and it's all based on the 1954 Tudor Submariner. Now, this watch was on a shaky nail and later sold to Watch Gecko because of a new addition to this list. I swear to God, I am not a flipper. This is just what unregulated ADHD looks like. But luckily, Watch Gecko bought this watch from its promotional materials, so I will see this watch around and maybe even able to borrow it for some additional videos next year. Swinging in at 6, we have the Sin 356i, a Flieger chronograph as described by someone in particular as being the perfect alternative to an Omega Speedmaster if you wanted something a little different. At least, that's what I said. This watch is amazing. I have an obsession with acrylic crystal and will often gravitate towards that on retro reissue models if it's available, and this one really impressed me. I had this one on loan from Watch Gecko, and just like the Baltic, I was actually really sad to see this one go. We hath reached the halfway point, so if you haven't already now, it would be a great time to like and sub to this channel, you beautiful watch heroes. But my pick for number 5 is quite frankly the amazing Omega Aquaterra 41mm day date. I picked this one up in late December last year, but I'm counting it against my 2024 list as I didn't get to wear it properly until January. This is a masterclass in watchmaking by Omega. I love this watch. It makes a perfect alternative to the Rolex Day-Date in my opinion. Another grail of mine is, thanks to this watch by the way, is the Omega Aquaterra World Timer, and it's all thanks to having this bad boy. We may as well stick with Omega here, and I have another big watch I bought in 2024. It's the Omega Seamaster 300 in seaweed green. It was a cracker of a watch, but if I'm being honest, a little too sterile for me. It lacked the personality I require for long-term ownership, but I will say this, technically the build quality was, well, amazing. The best watch on this list today, and possibly the best watch I have ever owned specs-wise, period. But I like my watches to have a little bit of damage, just like your emotionally crippled boy here. Would I buy another Omega Seamaster in the future? Yes, but probably the older models like the GoldenEye version or even the version just before the seaweed green, but who knows, only time will tell. Coming in at numero 3, we have the Vertex M36, a stunningly made British brand watch with heaps of history. Vertex is still a family-run business today, and I have to say, this is a beauty of a watch. Now, the elephant in the room for this one is that it has a very high price tag at over £2,000, but for the right collector, this would be worth every penny of that. Now, maybe I'm not that collector, but what I can say is it was an absolute pleasure having this watch for a short time on the wrist. The penultimate watch on today's list is a fairly new challenger microbrand from Canada. Now, I do have a soft spot for the Great White North as my parents live and currently work in Calgary. And this watch really did remind me of the likes of Banff, Lake Louise, and the general adventuring lifestyles many Canadians have. This watch is well spec'd and is the cheapest watch on today's list, and if you are looking for a well-made independent diver for under 500, then this is a brand you ought to look at. I may get one myself. The blue dial on the Atlantic version was, well, absolutely amazing. At number 1, we have the Tudor Submariner, and I know I have not given this list a particular order, but I think I have left the best till last today. This is my most recent pickup and was the main reason as to why the Tudor Black Bay 54 unfortunately had to leave my collection. After all, I don't like doubling up on brands, and why keep the Black Bay 54 when I had the ability to get this one? Now, I had a couple of options to choose from, such as the more modern day 1990s Submariners and even some 1970s Snowflake Submariners, but in the end I settled on this, the 1967 Tudor Submariner 7016. Smiley dial, rose logo, and the military serial number on the back is perfection. It's an absolute clanger. It's an absolute classic and a banger of a watch. Over the Moon doesn't fully describe it enough. And there you have it, watch nerds. These are by far my favourite watches that I have had in for review this year. And I'm really excited as to what 2025 has to offer. Now, before I sign off, I did want to say one more thing, and it is a big thank you. Not just to Watch Gecko for giving me the opportunities, but actually to you guys in the community. Look, everyone who has viewed my videos, has liked, has subscribed, has clicked on a link, has supported this channel in one way or another. And I wanted to say thank you for all of your support this year. There'll definitely be more videos coming next year as well. But it wouldn't be possible without you. Every video I do, even if it's just one comment, absolutely makes my day. So thank you again, everyone. I may not do any more videos this year. There might be the odd one here or there, but I'm going to be stopping videos properly until the new year. So if I don't see you guys before, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.